Hi, my dear children. Welcome you all again to our English class. The lesson that we were dealing with is The Thief Story by Ruskin Bond. And we have seen in the last class that Hari, who came to live in Anil's room as a helper, happened to see the money which was brought by Anil. Isn't it? And also we have seen that he was having the tendency for taking the money also, because being a thief, he can't hide his intensity or intention of living with Anil, isn't it? And we have seen that Anil also helped this Hari to write, and he gave the key of the room where he was sharing his room with Hari. And finally, what we see here is Anil really trusted Hari, isn't it? And even Hari is giving a good witness about Anil, telling that it's very hard to rob a person like Anil because he is very careless, and actually that will spoil the pleasure of stealing or robbing also. And he is just trying to justify his deed of stealing the money from Anil by telling that actually I was not paid so far. It's going to be 1 month still. I started my work in Anil's house, but apart from the money that I gained from the provisions or from going to the market, Anil haven't given me any single penny. So he thinks that it's my right to take the money. And after all, if Anil gets some money, he was very much interested in spending the money with his friends. So the last paragraph that we learned last day in page number 10 is, here it says that, well, it's time I did some real work. I told myself, and I am out of practice. And if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. By telling this, he thought of just robbing Anil. Okay, let's continue what the story just goes like this. Okay, now take your textbook, page number 10. After read and find out, you will come across the paragraphs. Okay, I'll read it for you. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped off the balcony and fell on bed. I sat upon the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. So what happens here is Anil is sleeping very comfortably in his bed. Last day we have seen that when Anil got some money, he just kept it under his mattress, isn't it? And he was sleeping now. And what happened? And Hari was just waiting for a chance. And also we have seen that Hari was sleeping in the balcony. He was given a space in the balcony. When Anil was asleep, what happened? A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. So he sat upon the floor. Hari slowly sat upon the floor, and he thinks that if I take the money now, I can catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Now from this story, it's very clear that the story just set in which state? In Uttar Pradesh, isn't it? Uttar Pradesh, somewhere near to Lucknow, isn't it? And so he thinks that definitely if I'll take the money now, maybe he was living very near to railway station or some place like that. So he thinks that I can catch the 10:30 express. After I take the money, I can just go away, isn't it? So what happened? Slowly he leaped into Anil's bed, and Anil was sleeping there very comfortably, isn't it? And what happened? Then looking at the face of the Anil, he says that, here it says that the face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine was serious, mostly scars. That means just like a childish face without any acne, without any lines or scars or anything like that. He was sleeping very comfortably like a innocent child. Okay, So what happened? Slowly Hari just crept into Anil's bed. Crept means he just slowly came very near to Anil's bed. And what happened? He was ready to take the money, and he knows the place where Anil have kept the money. In your textbook, the picture is given there. You can just see that. And it says that the next paragraph says that my hand slid under the mattress searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I startled and quickly crawled out of the room. So what happened? So as he was just trying to take the money from Anil's bed, or last day we have seen that he kept the money under the mattress, isn't it? So slowly this Hari started putting his hands under the mattress in order to take the money. Without making any sound, he just caught on the money and he was just dragging it out. By the time, what happened? Anil just sighed in his sleep. Sighed means just make a sound like this, and he turned on his side, turned to one side, the side where this Hari was standing and taking the money. Quickly, what happened? He turned towards me, the narrator, and Hari was telling that he turned towards me, and I was startled. Startled means frightened a bit. Oh, what if he sees me, isn't it? And what happened? Quickly crawled out of the room. What happened? Immediately after taking the money, he crawled. Crawl means he just came out of the room. Okay. Then what he did? When I was on the road, I began to run. Okay. I had the knots at my waist, held there by strings of my pajamas. I slowed down to walk and counted the knots. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So what happened? After taking the money, without making any noise, he just crawled out. Crawl means he just somehow came out of the room, and he started? He started running. I began to run, and I had the notes at my waist. He tucked the knots in his waist. Okay. And what happened? In between, here it says that in my waist, held there by the strings of pajamas. I slowed down to walk and counted the knots. So, in between, he stopped at one place and he started counting the money. How much was it? It was just 600 rupees, all in 50 rupees note. Okay, that's why last day we have seen it's bundle of notes, isn't it? So, all the money, he counted the money. Totally it was 600 in rupees, and what happened? All the currency was 50 rupees currency. He counted it and he could see that altogether how much money he got? 600 rupees. And he thinks that, what happened? This money is enough for me to live for a week or 2 weeks as a rich Arab. Okay, says that I could live like an oil-rich Arab. Oil-rich Arab means like a rich Arab person. I can just lavishly live with the 600 rupees for 1 or 2 weeks. So what happened? After taking the money, he ran out of the room. He just stopped at one point of place. It started counting. He could see that altogether it was 600 rupees. Okay, 600 rupees he had, and he tucked in this waist very near to the pajama, and he was running. He imagines and dreams like he can live with this money for 2 weeks like a rich Arab person. Okay, then next paragraph in page number 11. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office, and I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow express was now moving out. The train had still to pick up the speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. But I hesitated. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. Now what happened? Here we see that he reached the railway station. Which railway station? Maybe a railway station very near to Lucknow. Isn't it in Uttar Pradesh? Very near to Lucknow. He was about to catch which train? Express to Lucknow. He wanted to reach Lucknow. Maybe this was his hometown. We doesn't know. Or maybe this is another hiding place for Hari. That is also not clear. But it was sure that the state is Uttar Pradesh. Maybe very near to Lucknow. So what happened? He reached the station. And what is? The train was just moving. Okay, it was just moving, and says that he never took a ticket in his life. So now also he never thought of. That's why it says that I did not stop at the ticket office. It's a general, character of all the thieves that they will never ever take tickets from the ticket counter, isn't it? So here also Hari does the same thing. He doesn't want to spoil the nature of thieves. So he says that I never bought a ticket in my life, and dash means and ran straight towards the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving. It was slowly moving from the station. And what happened? The train had still to pick up the speed. I should have been able to jump in one of the carriages. So he says that it was very easy for me. I could easily jump into one carriage or in one bogie. It's just like we say. Okay. So he was about to jump, but here it says that something just pulled him back. It says that, but I hesitated. Hesitated means I just stopped for a while. I don't know, something. I just stopped it. Something from within. Or I was not able to jump in, as if something is pulling me back. He says so. And he says that for some reason, I don't know how to explain what was the reason why I didn't jump. And I'm pretty sure that it was very easy for me to jump onto the carriage or jump onto one bogie. But I didn't. I don't know why I didn't just jump. And I can't explain what is the reason behind that. Okay. And what finally he lost the train. And he couldn't catch the 10:30 Lucknow Express. Okay. So he missed the train. He doesn't know what was the reason. Okay. And let's see what the next paragraph just says here. And says that when the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. Okay, I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. What happened here? It says that when the train left, the station seemed lonely and deserted. Deserted means without any people all around. Okay. And also here we get a glimpse of the city. It seems to be like a city or densely, or somehow a very busy city. Here we see that there is a bazaar, then talking about hotel is there, isn't it? So anyhow, here it says that when the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. There was no one else. I was all alone there. No train, no, nothing was there. I was standing all alone there. And it says that I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. Okay, we have seen that what was the age of this Hari. The beginning of the lesson, we have seen that he says that, okay, Anil was about 25 and I only 15 years of age. Isn't it? The narrator or Hari, the thief, is only 15 years of age, isn't it? Now you are 15, isn't it? So just like a boy, isn't it? Being alone in a railway station, maybe he is much scared. Okay, but he is a well-versed thief. Isn't it? Well experienced thief. He knows each and every lines of being a perfect thief, isn't it? So as a boy, maybe just thinking about what to spend the night, isn't it? And what happened? I had no friends, believing that friends are more trouble than help. And one more thing is that he says that I don't have friends here in this city or in this area. And another thing is that if there is friends also, that is much troublesome. We can't go and rely upon my friends. So it says that believing that friends were more trouble than help. So he thinks that it's better not to go. If there is one friend also, it's better not to go and just trouble it. They will be definitely troublesome. Okay, than being a great help. So what happened? Then he doesn't want to stay in hotel also. He doesn't want to spend his night in a hotel also. Okay. So what happened? Slowly he started leaving the station. He just walked out of the station and he was walking towards the bazaar. What is bazaar? Bazaar is market. Through the market, he slowly started walking. Okay. Now, he doesn't know what happened to him because he already said that he could enter into a train, but something just pulled him. He was hesitated. He was stopped in between, and he can't explain what was the reason. Now he was all alone in this place, and he doesn't know where to go and spend the night. The only person that he knew in the city is whom? Anil. And now, how is it possible for him to go back to Anil? Because he robbed whom? He robbed Anil. And the money was still with him in his waist, isn't it? Tucked in his pajama, isn't it? So, let's continue. Now, here it says that his view about the robbed people says that, in my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's face when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear, the rich man showed anger, the poor man showed acceptance. But I know that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, he would only show a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. Now here we see that Hari was just giving a view of the people who were robbed. As far as he is concerned, he is a well-expert robber or a thief. So many people he might have seen. So he says that just considering, he was just trying to compare with some, categorizing people. Says that greedy man is there, rich man is there. Who is greedy? Greedy means people who never get, wanting of something, who always wanted more and more things in life. They are considered to be greedy, and they will never get accepted to whatever they have. They always have a tendency of getting more and more in their life. If they get 1 lakh, they go for 2 lakh. If they have 2 lakh, they go for 4 lakh. Just likewise, those kind of people are called greedy person. So he says that if a greedy person is being robbed, he showed what? He showed fear. And when a rich man is robbed, he shows what? Anger for just losing money. And talking about the poor person, it says that when a poor man is being robbed, he accepts that, yes, I lost the money. He just accepts that one and try to leave it. But rich man shows anger, and what he does, he just go and complain to the police officers and all, isn't it? And greedy men showed fear. They doesn't want to get their money, robbed again. So they try to hide it in some safer place likewise, because they always wanted to complete the target of filling the money, isn't it? So that is one thing. And what about poor man? Poor man, they have nothing, so they accept. And even if they go to police station, no one will accept their complaint also. That is another thing. So the only thing that poor man can show after being robbed is accept that I have been robbed. The only thing. And another thing. And finally, this Hari says that, but I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, he would only show a touch of sadness. But Hari just remembers the face of Anil. What is that? If Anil comes to know that he was robbed, he will be sad. Okay? The greedy man showed fear, then rich man showed anger, and poor showed acceptance. And but for Anil, he will be sad. And what is the reason why Anil will be sad? It says that, and last line of this paragraph says that, but I know that Anil's face, when he discovered, he would only show a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. Isn't it? So we can just categorize this Anil as what? A man in between poor and innocent, isn't it? That's why here we see that when Anil comes to know about the money that was robbed from him, Hari was sure that Anil will be sad, not for the loss of money, but for what? Loss of trust. Because Anil trusted Hari very much that he was not even scared of giving one spare key of his room to Hari. Isn't it? Already we have seen that. And we have seen that Hari already said that it's very hard to rob a person like Anil, because he is careless. He is already trusted me. I can go any time in his room. I can check anywhere. He'll never just think ill about me. He'll never doubt me. So definitely at any moment of time, I can just what is that? Drop him. But here it says that Anil will be definitely sorrow, or Anil will be definitely sad, not for losing the money, but for losing the trust that he had upon Hari. Okay. So that is what his mind was now filled with. Hari's mind was filled with, and he is in a great dilemma. What is dilemma? In great confusion as what to do. Looking at imagining the face of Anil in his mind, he can't withstand. And what happened? What happened? I found next paragraph. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly and it was clear. It was early November and the light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So what happened? Already he was in a dilemma when he started thinking about the face of Anil. As he was all alone, as he was walking through the bazaar, he came to a Maidan. Maidan means what is that? A place, a playground, or a place where people used to spend in daytime and all. And he was all alone now. And in that place, there was a bench and he was seated alone there. And as he was thinking about Anil's face, why he couldn't catch the train, why he was seated here like a lonely person, along with these thoughts, discomfortable thoughts and confusion in his mind, what was it? The night was chilly. It is chilly. Chilly means cold. He can't withstand with the cold. It was a chilly cold, and apart from that, what was the month here? It was November, isn't it? And a light drizzle. Drizzle means shower, raining. It was very lightly raining also. It was a cold night. It was raining, and what happened? That drizzle added to my discomfort. Totally, I am in discomfort, and soon it started raining quite heavily. So he was all alone in that Maidan, in that playground, sitting fully drenched. Drenched means what? Fully wet, isn't it? And remember where he kept the money? He kept the money in his waist, in his pajama, isn't it? So what happened? My shirt and pajama stuck to my skin and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So what happened? As he was seated there, he started, what is that? He started receiving the rain, and his shirt, his pajamas, everything was stuck to his skin, and along with the rain, it was very cold, and he was seated in this Maidan lonely in a bench. Okay. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. So what happens here is, so last day we have seen that he moved towards the Maidan and he was seated there in the cold chilling night, isn't it? So from there he doesn't know where to go. So he says that I went to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. Somehow he wanted to spend his night, isn't it? And also he couldn't enter, or he couldn't just jump onto the train because something hesitated and pulled him back, isn't it? So he spent the night, almost the night in the clock tower, under the shelter of the clock tower. Okay, somehow because it's raining. So he went back to the bazaar and he was seated under the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. What was the time? It's midnight. Okay, 12 o'clock. I felt for the knots. When he touched the knot, he could see that the currencies were fully wet. Okay, they were damp from the rain. Damp means fully wet and congested with the rain, isn't it? In the rain, it was fully wet. Okay, next paragraph. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema. But now, I had it all. I couldn't cook his meal, run to the bazaar, or learn to write the whole sentence anymore. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentence I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simply to be caught. But to be a really A big man, a clever and a respected man was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So what happens here is, what we see here is, as he was sitting under the clock tower, he was just regretting about his action. What was the action? Because without whose knowledge, without Anil's knowledge, he took the money at night and he ran towards the railway station, but he could not reach, or he could not fulfill his desire of leaving to Lucknow. We have seen that. So in that night, at midnight, he was seated under the clock tower for shelter from the rain, and he was started thinking about what could have happened if he has not taken the money from Anil. So what would have happened? It says that in the morning, if I hadn't taken the money, in the morning he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to cinema. It's usual. Every day Anil used to give some money to go to the bazaar to buy things as provisions. Then he'll be giving some money for Hari to watch the cinema, isn't it? So definitely he was just thinking, I'm sitting here, I don't have any place to go, isn't it? So he started thinking, what would have happened if I wouldn't have taken the money? Then it says that, but now I had it all. Definitely in the morning Anil will be giving me 2 or 3 rupees. Now I have all the money with me. How much? You know that? 600 rupees in which notes? 50 rupees notes, isn't it? So he has all the 600 rupees with him. And he thinks that he regrets that I couldn't cook his meal, run to the bazaar, or learn to write the whole sentence anymore. Now he started realizing the mistake that he has done. What is that? As he was seated here with the whole money in his hand, he realizes that hereafter, if I keep this money with me, definitely I can't cook meals for Anil, and Anil will not be able to teach me how to write, isn't it? And he promised me he will teach me how to write the whole sentence, isn't it? After 2-3 days. So it says that definitely I missed all these funny things in my life, because this is not the way that Hari used to experience. Only after being with Anil, he experienced a new life, isn't it? So he started missing all these routine works. For 1 month, he was doing all these things, isn't it? Now, next paragraph, I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the thief. Because you know that he is, fully a thief, or we say that he is a thief, but he had hidden that intention and he thought of spending few days with Anil, isn't it? So he says that basically, being a thief, I just forgotten about the good opportunities that I enjoyed in whose life? In Anil's life, isn't it? Even though Anil was not paying regularly, but still then he was just allowing this Hari to spend his day there with good food and a shelter, isn't it? So he says that I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentence, I knew one day would bring me more than 100 rupees. It says that if I am able to be an educated man, a person who could read and write well, definitely one day I can earn what? I would earn much money. And says that it brings me more than a few 100 rupees. If I get a job after being educated, I'll get good handsome money in my hand. Yes, what I have done, he was just thinking and he started realizing the mistake that he had done. Okay. And says that it was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught, isn't it? And he thinks that yes, anyone can steal, and at any moment of time that can be caught also. But it's rare opportunity for a person to get educated, especially for a person like Anil, isn't it? And it says that I missed what? But to be a really big man, a clever and a respected man was something else, isn't it? Anyone can be a thief, but what is that? To be a respected man, to be a clever and to be a big man is something else. And it's not possible for everyone. And I got an opportunity likewise. But sitting at this point of time under the clock tower, I understand one thing. The narrator says that I understand one thing, that I spoiled the opportunity for being a respectable and a big man and a clever man in my life. And what he finally determined, I should go back. I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So finally, he determined to go back to Anil. For what? To be a respectable man in the society. He wanted to be really a clever big man in his life. And he understood one more thing. It's very easy for a person to steal anyone, or for stealing anything. There doesn't need any respect. And at any moment of time, he could be caught. But what about being a respectable man? Everyone will honor him. Everyone will consider him. And moreover, if be a respectable man, definitely he'll get a handsome job. If he get a handsome job, definitely he'll get good amount of money in his hand. There is no need for him to steal anymore. So, he regretted his action for stealing the money from Anil. So, finally, he thought and he told himself that I should go back. I should go back to Anil. I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So, he is well determined. He wanted to learn. He wanted to read. He wanted to write. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Then coming to next paragraph, I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil with the knots. I crept to the head of the bed and my hands came up with the knots. I felt the breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hands found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the knots. So what happens here is, when he realized his mistake, he thought of correcting himself. So what happened? He is now in the doorstep of Anil. And now we see that Anil is sleeping. Still sleeping, isn't it? So it's midnight only, isn't it? It's not daytime or dawn, isn't it? So he hurried. Hurried means what? He was very speedily he moved back to the room where Anil was sleeping, and it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. And standing there, now he feels nervous. What is nervous? He feels frightened. What if he see me? What if he caught me at this moment, isn't it? So he feels so nervous as he doesn't know how to keep the money back. It was very easy to pull it and run, isn't it? Now it's very hard to keep it back undetected. What is that undetected? Means unnoticed. And he wanted to make sure that when I keep the money back, Anil should never know that I am keeping the money. If he was about to keep the money at that time, if Anil sees me, he'll think that I am here to take the money, isn't it? So there is high chance for, being more culprit in my life, isn't it? And apart from this is what? Loss of trust, isn't it? Really, Anil trusted him. Last 2 days we have seen that Anil trusted him very much, and that's one of the reason why he just handed over the key, the spare key of the room, isn't it? And he says that I opened the door quietly and stood in the doorway. And he was now in confusion. What to do? I should take much care. I should not just wake Anil there, isn't it? Slowly and steadily, without making a noise, he just stepped onto the door and he just walked very near to Anil, where Anil is sleeping in clouded moonlight. You know that its moonlight is also there, so you can see everything clearly sometimes. And Anil was still asleep, isn't it? Anil was sleeping comfortably over the sound sleep, and I crept to the head of the bed. Crept means slowly crawling without making any noise, just like a cat who goes and steals something. Here, our Hari is also just crawling towards the head of the bed, and my hand came up with the knots. And immediately, once I reached near the mattress, what happened? I took the money from my waist. What is the condition of the notes now? Last day we have seen that as he was sitting in the Maidan, it was what? Heavily raining, and he was drenched. If he was drenched means definitely the money will be also what? Drenched or wet. So he took the money with his hands, and what is that? I felt the breath of his hand. Okay? I felt the breath on my hand. So I could feel Anil breathing in my hand as I was about to keep the money under the mattress without making Anil know about Hari's presence there. Okay, see how much difficulty he was now experiencing in order to keep the money back, isn't it? This is how each and every person just experience once you do one mistake in your life, isn't it? In order to correct it, it's very difficult, isn't it? So it's very easy to do mistakes in life, but it's very hard to correct it back. So what is that? And my hands came up with the notes. I felt his breath, Anil's breath. Breath means the breathing, or his, breathing on my hand. I remained still for a minute, because you know that how it happens when have you done anything like this without the notice of your parents? Have you taken anything from your parents, isn't it? So definitely likewise here also, Hari was experiencing the same thing. He doesn't wanted this Anil to be waken up. So he still remained for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the knots. Once he reached the edge of the mattress, what happened? Immediately he tucked the money under the mattress and took his hand, and he just left the place. Okay, somehow he just struggled much in order to keep the money back. Anil was sleeping very comfortably, and without the knowledge of Anil, Hari, the narrator, kept the money back and he left the place. Okay, and he took his hands from the mattress after keeping the notes under the mattress. Okay, so next what happened? I woke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you'll be paid regularly. So what happened? So we see that after keeping the money, that maybe it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock that he returned the money. So he came back to Anil's house and he placed the money without whose knowledge? Anil's knowledge. So Hari was back to his balcony and he was sleeping, isn't it? And he forgot to wake up early because last night he was doing some theft, isn't it? Usually everyone used to ask if you are late to wake up. Have you done any theft last night? Similarly, same thing happened here, and Hari was sleeping and he forgot to wake up early morning. And who put the tea today morning? The next morning, Anil prepared tea for Hari and he offered narrator here, our Hari. What? He stretched out his hand towards me. He stretched means he just gave me something, and what was there in his hand? A 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. Now you can just imagine what was the physical and mental condition of Hari. And most probably he thought that now I'll be caught. What was the reason? You know the reason. It says that I thought I had been discovered. The narrator thought that now Anil will ask me, isn't it? Everything that happened last night, and I will be caught now, he was says. And instead of that, what Anil was saying, I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you will be paid regularly. What was that? Anil's comment. Anil said nothing other than one thing. What is that? See Hari, I got some money yesterday that I told you. I sold one book to a publisher. And I got some money in my hand. And today onwards, I'll pay you regularly. Because so far, Hari was not paid. Apart from money given to buy provision and to see cinemas and all. And Anil promised Hari that from now onwards or today onwards, he'll pay him regularly. Okay? And what we see there, my spirit rose. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Okay? When Hari just accepted the money from Anil, he could see that the 50-rupee note which was given by Anil is still wet. You know how it was wet, isn't it? Because last night it was heavy raining and the whole money was in the pocket of our Hari. So Hari was wet, his pajamas was wet, along with that money was also wet. And from that wet money, Anil took one and gave it to Hari, telling that today onwards I'll pay you regularly. And we see that Anil didn't make any comment on the wet note. He even never bothered to ask how it happened, isn't it? It was very sure that Anil was sleeping on the bed last night. But Nothing happened. The rain didn't fall there, isn't it? It was not raining inside the room. Or how did the money get wet? Nothing, no question, no comment, nothing like that. He didn't ask anything. But instead of that, from this we could understand that Anil understood everything that happened, how the money might have got wet, isn't it? And now, instead of asking anything, what happened? Anil made another comment. What is that? Today we'll start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came back by itself without any effort. What is that? Here we see the real spirit of Anil. We understand that Anil is so compassionate towards this Hari, isn't it? Maybe at the first sight itself, Anil might have understood the intention of Hari, because you know that whenever he gave some money to buy provision from the market, he was not truthful enough to Anil. So every day he took what? One rupee in his pocket. And he never bothered to say that, Anil, I took one rupee today. Nothing he said about all these days, isn't it? So from that day onwards, there may be intuition in Anil's mind that Hari is a thief or Anil is not a trustworthy person. But from the part of Anil showed full trust and compassion towards this narrator. That's maybe one of the reasons, even though this is a very good opportunity for Anil to question the wet money or the things that happened so far, or for taking 1 rupee each every day, he never asked anything. Instead of that, what is it? He just gave a smile and just told him that today we will start writing sentence. That means he was in full spirit to have the friendship back with Anil. He doesn't want to destroy the trust and the faith that he had with Hari. He wanted to keep that relationship with Hari hereafter. That's why, without asking a question, it says that the narrator says that he knew what? He knew that yesterday I might have tried to take the money and I might have ran from the place, isn't it? And I kept the money, everything he knew. Who knew it? Anil knew it very clearly, but he didn't ask anything about the theft. Instead, he said, today we'll start writing sentences, isn't it? So here what we see here is, this is one kind of mentality that is giving another person greater opportunity for his life to correct himself. So Anil has given much chance for this Hari not to be a thief anymore, but to be a respectable and a trustworthy person in life. If Anil has given him a chance and Hari understood it in some percentage, definitely hereafter I am sure that Hari will never go for stealing hereafter, because Anil gave him one chance to correct the mistake from his side. And Anil didn't correct him. Anil gave opportunity to Hari to correct from his own side and giving him a chance to live a perfect life, isn't it? So the compassionate attitude of Anil had given Hari a chance to see life in its fullest, to enjoy life and to correct from the mistake that he has done. So when Hari gave appealing smile, Anil also just gave him the very same power of smile, an attractive smile back to Hari without any effort. Without any effort means, what is that? Without any trouble, without any hardship. You know that it's very hard to accept a person when he has spoiled the trust that you have in it. But here we see that just Anil was giving a chance to Hari. This is all about the thief story. And hereafter, Anil was sure that Hari is not going to be a thief anymore, and Hari will be loyal to Anil from this day onwards. This is what Ruskin Bond was trying to impart through the story, the thief story. Okay? And indirectly, Ruskin Bond was telling us, as human beings, we should also give others some opportunities in life. And we should also be patient enough, and we should also give much encouragement, and we should able to forgive others in times like this, isn't it? Maybe this is the way that Harry learned in his life, only to steal and to cheat others. That's why in the beginning of the lesson, we have seen that every month Harry used to change his name, and we doesn't know what the real name of Hari is. But here, when he comes to Anil, the narrator's name is Hari, isn't it? But hereafter, maybe he is continuing his life as Hari because he got a very good friend like Anil. Because that's why last part we have seen that friendship intact. Intact means friendship unbroken. This Anil have got an opportunity to break the friendship with Hari. But instead that, with the compassion, he just build one more bridge, more, strength. He cemented the friendship with his compassion towards this Hari. Okay, that's all about the lesson. Have a nice day. God bless you all. Thank you.